So recently, Nintendo has been going ham at attacking emulators. I don't know if y'all been keeping up tabs on it. I've been keeping tabs up on it because I've been recently downloading tons of emulators up on my Steam Deck because I don't want to go out and buy a $300 or $400 console just to play one game that was nostalgic to me. That's gonna also cost me $200 to buy that game. So I'm gonna be in it like $600 to buy one game is ridiculous. So yeah, I'm going to buy the console, or I'm going to emulate the game, which is stupid for Nintendo. Why can't they just put it on the Switch? So yeah, but Nintendo's been going ham at attacking these companies, and from my understanding, Osmond Gold just reacted to this. The website that they went after, though, is like one of the longest lasting websites for ROMs and emulators and shit. And so now Nintendo's been going after them, and Sega and all that. Dude, Nintendo's fucking ass, dude. I haven't even seen Osmond's reaction to this, though. Oh, hold on. Okay.
In the summer of 2018, the best-selling console in June of that year wasn't the Nintendo Switch or the Sony PlayStation 4, it was the NES Classic, a miniature version of the NES that cost $60 and came with 30 classic NES titles. And it sold well. So well that...
I thought that was fake, honestly. I didn't even realize that was a real thing. What kind of games did it come with? Super Mario Bros. 3? That's like probably one of the only games, and this Super Mario's game right here that I played on the Nintendo. Legend of Zelda. I maybe played a little bit of Legend of Zelda. I've never played Ice Climbers. That's the only one I've played. Cat, my boy, you're now just messaging me back in my own Twitch chat, but you won't even message me back in the Discord? What's wrong with you, brother? I want to play Calamity with you, my dude. But first on the more important things, my dude.
How the fuck have you been, dude?
We're over here reacting to Nintendo's just freaking destroying emulators right now, and all our fun. Our nostalgic fun. And from them absolutely refusing to profit on their old games and letting other people and third parties profit from their games and inflating the prices like none other.
And it sold well. So well that Nintendo underestimated the demand. The NES Classic was frequently sold out and resell.
I wonder if you can still get this, actually. I actually don't know anyone who has this. Oh, you can get it on Amazon. It's expensive? Holy shit, yeah it is. 260 bucks. Cause that comes with the inverter too. That's expensive. And usually Amazon is the cheapest. Well, hold on. What is this right here? A family computer by Nintendo. Dude, this is what I want. Right here. This would be badass.
Took advantage of the FOMO from those who weren't able to get one. The NES Classic underneath the covers is nothing more than a low-powered ARM device that runs an in-house Nintendo-developed emulator and ROMs. Nintendo would follow this up with the Super NES Classic, which was just as successful, and just like any other mini console at the time, it would be quickly hacked to...
Oh. Damn, so Nintendo probably didn't like that, huh? Nintendo probably didn't like that they had a lot of people hacked these and turned those and reverse engineered it and turned it around.
Run just about any emulator and ROM that you wanted. Enjoy.
Oh, is that what I think it is? What game is that? Anyone can tell me what game that is? I want to know. I can't read that right there. Let's see here. Let's turn up the quality.
18 of
I can't tell if that almost looks like what's it called? What's that one? Total Carnage, that old ass game I used to play.
the same year as the NES Classic, Nintendo would file a lawsuit against the
Yep, see? There it is. But hold on, I want to see the C2M. What is that? That is interesting. Is that that must be the system.
year as the NES Classic, Nintendo would file a lawsuit against the operator of a popular console ROM site known as LoveRoms.com. According to
ROMs.
Nintendo, the sites are among the most notorious online hubs for pirated games. And just 3 days
Right.
later, LoveRoms was shut down. Emu Paradise, out of fear of being targeted by Nintendo,
A lot of
also
others.
ceased providing ROMs on their website. In July of 2019, Nintendo went scorched earth on another popular ROM sharing site known as ROM Universe, stating the company
Hold on.
in
I
July
wanna read that.
2019, Nintendo went scorched earth
ROM
on another popular
Universe.
ROM sharing site known as ROM Universe, stating
So, hundreds of thousands of copies of Nintendo games have been illegally downloaded through the website, including nearly 300,000 downloads of copies of pirated Nintendo Switch games and more than 500 copies of pirated Nintendo 3DS games. Yeah. I know Citra is a 3DS emulator that was being used. That one got shut down too.
the company alleges
Nintendo is hella salty, dude. ROM Universe was built largely on a brazen and mass scale and fragment of Nintendo's intellectual property rights, writes the complaint. The website is among the most visited and notorious online hubs for pirate Nintendo video games. The website, defendants reproduce, distribute, monetize, and offer for download thousands of unauthorized copies of Nintendo's video games.
ROM Universe is built largely on brazen and mass scale infringement. It was shut down shortly after. And fast forward to today, Vim's Lair is the latest in a string of high-profile ROM sites that have been a target of Nintendo
This
in their
is-
quest to eradicate illegal ROMs and piracy. In the case of Vim's Lair, Nintendo, along with Sega, Lego, and a group of companies who form the ESA,
Oh, and Lego and ESA, Entertainment Software Association, or something like that. I can't remember what it is. All the Lego games, too. That's insane. You know, and I went to a retro game store the other day, and like the prices have went down for sure. At least they're not so crazy, but for me, at least the game that I wanted to buy was not available. And so the only way I wanted to get it, or the only way I was able to get it was let's see here. Gauntlet Dark Legacy. Like, let's see, that's $217 for a GameCube game right now. 161 bucks for this game. If I want to play this game, if I want to actually legitly play this game right now, Gauntlet. Not only that, is if I bought this, the person that's the developers that made this game wouldn't even be profiting from this game. Is what's frustrating. Is I would love to give them the developers the proper money. I would buy this game twice, 3 times. I would just love to give them more money instead of little Joe Schmo over here taking Midway's money. But here now I have to pay $217 plus. These aren't so bad. Like, let's just say, you know, like 150 bucks. You're looking at 150 bucks for that. Or let's just go with this one. Okay, Goodwill Finds right here. It comes with a console, 150 bucks. 150 bucks plus the 217. Because that's a GameCube game. You're easily three or what's the math there? Or 150 plus the 217. You're easily at 450 or 400. I'm probably doing my math totally wrong. You know what? It's been a long day. Okay, whatever. That's ridiculous. And I don't have a console to play it on. I actually do have a PS2. I do actually do that. I do have my PS2, so I could just buy this. Granted, I would still need to buy a controller, an adapter to plug it into my TV, and that. But still, for $161 for them to not even get the money is ridiculous. And what about the games that are not even available on stores like old Nintendo stores, like DS stores, like old online games? Like what is the 3DS store that's not available anymore? The maybe games that were only available to the store, that's no longer available. I wish I never sold my 3DS. Otherwise, I would have never been in this situation. Where's my video at? I know they've been going after this website like crazy.
Was responsible. Now, I do want to be very clear that Nintendo does have every right to protect what's theirs, and ROM sites do indeed host illegal ROMs. But it's in my opinion that Nintendo is causing irreparable damage to a community that's almost single-handedly kept game preservation efforts alive for decades. And we're going to talk.
And see, that's the problem too. That's exactly it. That's what I was trying to say too. Like that. It's almost like I was just trying to explain this to a coworker today too, and he was saying like, well, they're even recreating games, you know, like let's take Grand Theft Auto for example. They have Grand Theft Auto San Andreas being remade. Now, I haven't played the remakes or anything, and I'll be honest with you, I really haven't played Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, so I really don't know. But I do know in some games that they remake, they take exploits out, or just it's just not the same. And some people would rather just play the older games and get that actual nostalgic feel and be able to play it like how it was intended to play. 3.2 thousand miles. Dude, I think the most I've ever driven is like 1,005, like in round trip. That's crazy. That's double, more than double. That's insane. Fuck that. Fuck that shit. And it's probably all boring too. Like, those states probably have nothing to see around them.
Talk about why I'm genuinely concerned about the future of video game preservation after a quick word from today's sponsor. Today's episode is brought to you by Delete Me. As someone who works in the video game industry and as a known public figure, maintaining my privacy is extremely important, and sometimes I feel like I'm fighting a losing battle. Last year, I got an email from...
Dude, I accidentally fucking exploit myself all the time. There's no way.
Appeared to be...
I'll just accidentally say where I live. I need to stop streaming.
A YouTube representative. Now, being tech savvy, I knew that this was a scam.
Don't say that,
but
Cap.
what I didn't really understand at the time was how these scammers were able to get my information so easily. Well, it's all thanks to data brokers, and these are large corporations that collect huge amounts of your personal identifiable information and package it all together. And these data brokers will also sell your data to other data brokers, and there are literally hundreds, maybe thousands of these sites on the internet. Now, you have the right to stay private and protect your personal data, and that's where
Mixcloud,
comes in. It's an online subscription service that will scrub the internet for you and remove your personal data from hundreds of these data broker websites. Now, I've been using the service for the past few weeks, and
I'll be honest with you, my data's probably already been sold a lot through Facebook or other things.
And so far, I'm really happy with the results. Now, once you've signed up for the service, Delete Me experts will find your personal information online and remove it from over 750 data brokers. The first report you'll receive after 7 days of using the service. And this is mine. Check this out. This isn't altered in any way. These are all the data broker sites that my information was found on. Now, as you can see going down this list, some of them have removal requests pending, while others have already been removed. And Delete Me doesn't stop there either. They will regularly remove your personal information at a scheduled basis. process and keep you informed. Not only this, you can also make custom removal requests as well. Now, I'm a Delete Me customer, and I recommend it to anyone who wants to try it out for themselves. There are even family plans available for those who want to protect the privacy of their entire family. So what are you waiting for? Get 20% off Delete Me US customer plans when you go to joindeleteme.com/MVG and use promo code MVG at checkout. That's joindeleteme.com/MVG, code MVG at checkout. Nintendo has a well-documented stance against emulation and ROMs. In 1999, when Ultra HLE, the first public Nintendo 64 emulator released, they called emulation illegal. But after it was tried in court and emulators were found to actually be legal, Nintendo changed their strategy. If they can't take down the emulators, then why not go after the sites that host the ROMs? Now you might be thinking to yourself, MVG, Nintendo just took down Yuzu. That's an emulator, so what are you talking about? Nintendo did shut down Yuzu. However, the DMCA law was never tried in court.
Nintendo Switch emulator Yuzu will utterly fold and play. Damn.
Yuzu took an L to keep emulation legal, which I think everyone can agree was the right thing to do. But let's get back to ROMs, which is the main topic of this video. I mentioned that Nintendo has every right as the copyright holder to remove what belongs to them. But did you notice that Nintendo is pushing for the removal of the entire sites, threatening the preservation of ROMs that don't even belong to them? But MVG, what about archive.org, I hear you ask? That's never going to go away. Let's stop and discuss archive.org for a moment. And while I do agree that with the loss of Love ROMs, Vimslare, and other sites, as long as archive.org exists, then everything will be fine. But it's really not the case. First of all, let's talk about why Nintendo hasn't gone after archive.org in the same way as they have with the other sites. Well, it's because archive.org has a DMCA exemption to help with the archival of vintage software. It's vital to make proper archival copies of these artifacts. The problem with this exemption
might end up seeing you at your drunkest. God damn, he's pissed. He's pissed. Is Nintendo just going bankrupt? Nintendo's just pissed, dude. What was it? There must have been something that's been going around that they just recently just started looking at emulators again.
Every 3 years, the Copyright Office holds a rulemaking proceeding to determine the exemption status. And for example, if 1 year they rule against the DMCA exemption, the site is then exposed to the same takedowns as any other ROM site. It's as simple as that. Nothing lasts forever, except for the ridiculous copyright laws when it comes to video games. And if you didn't know, here in the United States, video game copyright lasts for the entire life of the creator plus an additional 70 years. And Nintendo themselves have been outspoken opposing the DMCA exemption on archive.org. If and when there is a reversal of the DMCA exemption, Nintendo will be the first company to strike.
Nintendo's always the first one.
So what can we do about this? ROM sites are illegal, but can we dump our own games? Is it even legal to do that? I'm not a lawyer, but my understanding of dumping is that it's perfectly legal to dump your own games as long as you're not circumventing any protection measures as stated by the DMCA. In general, what this means is that anything up to around the 6th generation of game consoles would be perfectly legal to make backups of. Anything beyond that. But for this discussion,
and this is what you should exactly do if you have with the newer games, like with Switches. Like, if I wanted to go out and mod Scarlet and Violet, what I would probably end up doing is I would probably end up taking my Scarlet and Violet and backing it up and doing it this way and putting it on my computer because I bought the game at that point.
Let's just assume that all ROMs can be dumped by individuals who own originals, and it's perfectly legal to do that. So, if it's okay to download and use...
Because if you buy it, you own it, and you should be able to do that. You should have to back it up.
An emulator and dump your own games, then what's the problem? Preservation lives on. After all, I'm making a legal backup of my games. The problem is, have you ever tried to dump a NES, Super NES, Genesis, or old game cartridge? It's not an easy thing to do. You need some type of dumping hardware like this thing here. This is the Retro 2. It can dump SNES and Genesis ROMs, and I even have an adapter for N64 and Game Boy. The problem is, these aren't readily available. They are almost never in stock when you need one. And have you tried dumping?
Fuck, dude. I was literally just thinking to myself, man, I should really get one of those. So hold on, Retro 2. Let's see if it's readily available. They're out of stock. That's a shame. Is there an alternative? Open source cartridge reader, which is a 249 option. Game Boy, NES, Famicom, Super Nintendo. There should be someone who makes more of these. I wonder how good this works. Okay.
NES game cartridges. I've tried a few different dumpers and all of them are terrible. The best option is to use a dumping tool with the analog NT Mini, which isn't made anymore. And back in the old days, way before FPGA based dumping tools, disc and cartridge copiers were all the rage. Now I've used disc copiers on the channel before. These devices were also successfully blocked in US courts as illegal. Now of course it was still very possible to import them via
Dude, I heard this game is so hard as hell.
Electronic stores such as Lexang.
Speaking of hard as hell games, I went back and played Tony Hawk's Underground 2 and holy shit. I'm ass. That game is so hard.
But you start to see the frustration. Disc-based games like the Dreamcast, OG Xbox and GameCube aren't really much better either. You can use either a specific drive with a hacked firmware or you can use a hacked console. It shouldn't be this complicated to make backups of your own games, and yet it is.
Shouldn't.
Why not just leave everything up to Nintendo? After all, they did successfully launch the Virtual Console on the Wii, Wii U, and recently the NSO service on the Nintendo Switch. Not only this, they have a very long history of providing backward compatibility options for hardware going as far back as the Game Boy Color. Nintendo can't be trusted. The Virtual Console on the Wii was a very good service they provided. When it was all said and done,
dude, they need to just capitalize on this. The amount of games they could add to this is insane, and they don't. It's a shame.
There was a total of 427 Virtual Console titles available on the service in North America. And in 2019, the Wii U online service was shut down. So let's move over to the Wii U. Many games had to be ported to the Wii U Virtual Console, and there's a total of 318 titles available in North America. It's a pretty significant reduction.
Once it is no longer possible to purchase software in Nintendo eShop on Wii U and the Nintendo 3DS family of systems, many classic games for platforms will cease to be available for purchase anywhere. Will you make classic games available to own some other way? If not, then why? Doesn't Nintendo have an obligation to preserve its classic games by continually making them available for purchase? Across our Nintendo Switch Online membership plans, over 130 classic games are currently available in growing libraries for various legacy systems. The games are often enhanced with new features such as online play. We think this is an effective way to make a classic content easily available to a broad range of players within these libraries. New and longtime players can not only find games they remember or have heard about, but other fun games they might not have thought to seek out otherwise. We currently have no plans to offer classic content in other ways. What are some of the games that I'm thinking of that are like 3DS store games? So you did send something. You could always send something, homie. Mutant Muds or something like that. This game right here, like, I don't know if you could get. Oh, okay. It looks like you can't get it on the Switch. But okay, but there's other games out here like this. Hold on, I know of one. Zombie game 3DS store. Escape from Zombie City. No. Was it this one right here? No. Oh my god, it's gonna drive me insane. There's this zombie game that I got on the 3DS store. And it was ass. Like, I remember I wanted this game so bad, and I bought this game, and I played this game, and I was so disappointed as a kid. I was like, dude, this game is terrible. I can't believe I'm playing this. I can't find it. I don't know if I'll ever be able to find it or the name of this game.
As we know, just recently, the Wii U store was also closed. But of course, now we come to the Nintendo Switch Online service, which is the service-based Netflix-style model Nintendo has always wanted to provide. And the smart money suggests that Nintendo will transfer over the NSO with your Nintendo account to future Nintendo hardware, including the Switch 2. This, of course, is a good move. As of the making of this video, there's only a paltry 275 titles available on the NSO service, and we only get a very small drip feed of new games every single month. I remember back in the days of the Wii Virtual Console, we were getting games every single week. The Nintendo Switch has sold over 155 million units, but
It's like they're lazy, dude.
is all but doing the absolute minimum to offer retro games to their customers. The number of old classic games Nintendo is providing on their hardware services is shrinking with every single generation. And you've probably noticed that every single month people are asking for games like Chrono Trigger or Secret of Evermore on the service. How many years will people need to wait before they show up, if ever? There's no guarantee that anything will ever appear on the NSO. As someone who does work on commercial emulation projects, I can tell you categorically that many publishers see value in partnering with companies like Limited Run or Digital Eclipse to help bring back their back catalog. The reality is, Nintendo Switch Online
what's
is
up,
just another
Wesky?
revenue stream for Nintendo's bottom line.
How you doing, homie?
The emulation quality, while decent enough, doesn't hold a candle to community-developed efforts that run on their own hardware. The emulators that the homebrew community built on the Wii, Wii U, 3DS, and the Nintendo Switch are far superior to anything that Nintendo has ever provided. The community who downloads ROMs shouldn't all be labeled as filthy pirates who deserve what's coming to them. It's the resellers who attempt to profit from them that really should be targeted.
Exactly, and it's the insanity of these companies refusing to not profit on these games that they literally have made. Like, how would you feel as an artist if you made some art and some other people was turning around and selling your art because they deemed it as nostalgic? But Nintendo could be selling these games. Okay, like I was just showing, for example, right here, Nintendo refuses. This could be Nintendo's money right here, but this isn't going to be sold or going to Nintendo or anything, and it's not going to Midway, the developers that made the game. It's going to some Joe Schmo dude who's reselling the game, which, by the way, this is a really great game. I've been replaying it lately. Which is crazy too, is if you wanted to play this game for $217, you would also have to buy the GameCube and then a controller and then possibly an adapter too. If Nintendo was selling this for $200, I would buy it, dude. Honestly, and if I could buy a sealed copy of this game, I would, but I don't know if there is. I went to a retro game store the other day and they don't have this game nowhere. They don't have it on, because from my understanding, I went into a retro game store the other day and they did not have this game in stock at all. And from my understanding, this particular title got released on 3 different consoles. You have the Xbox, Nintendo GameCube, and PlayStation 2. All across the board, it wasn't available. They even have a GameCube version, which is a different, smaller version of this game, but it wasn't available too. They didn't have it on the Nintendo 64 as well. Yeah, so I was able to put my name on a list that if they ever came across this game, they would call me and let me know that it's available or they could sell it to me. So I'm kind of curious how much they're going to sell it to me for, knowing that this game is kind of expensive, or if they're going to sell it to me at all, because maybe there's someone above the list above me already who's already looking for this game, knowing that I can't really find it that much.
If Nintendo really cared about ROMs, they'd be taking down every single seller on Amazon who's selling knockoff handhelds with 10,000 games on them. I can literally buy one right now and get it delivered tomorrow. And if it wasn't for ROMs, fan translations would not exist. And this is something that people pour their hearts and souls into to provide localization efforts to games that were never released in that particular country. But it doesn't even stop there. Things like full color translation.
I didn't even think about that too, like games that I can't play too, like Japan games,
screen mod,
Japan Pokemon games.
ROM hacking built out of completely new games, updating and adding quality of life features, even building demakes of games. Anytime a remaster is announced, people ask what quality of life features will there be? Well, if ROMs didn't exist, that would be a big fat zero. And I'll fill you in on a secret. Commercial retro game collections I've been involved with, we frequently work with ROM hacking experts in the community. Everyone does who works on retro collections. Experts in reverse engineering, ROM hacking and localization efforts are essential to bringing back old games to modern times. The FPGA community.
Bless their hearts, dude. Bless their hearts for working together and doing God's work. Thank you for guys for coming together and putting those frickin' ROMs together and just doing that. Honestly.
Just saw the release of the N64 Mysticore, an incredible piece of work that will surely benefit N64 hardware preservation, but it still requires ROMs to play. It's easy to say that the internet is vast and ROMs will never be eradicated, but the reality is, every high-profile ROM site that's shut down, it's a blow to preservation. We can't trust Nintendo or the ESA to be in charge.
Damn, Portal goes back this far? That's insane.
Of preservation efforts. They've failed in doing so time and time again. Their motives aren't to preserve, rather to control. They make it clear that they will go after any ROM site that gets in their crosshairs. And unfortunately for Vim's Lair, this was because of moronic TikTokers.
That's what it was. I knew there was something huge that happened. It was because Apple just recently allowed ROMs onto their or emulators onto their Apple devices, and now it's been getting a lot more traction. A lot more people have been playing the Game Boy games, and now Nintendo's like, maybe I should look into this. And they're like, holy shit, there's a lot of these people playing the emulators, and man, what the fuck? Oh god, dude. Apple people, why you gotta ruin everything? You see, us Samsung and freaking Android users, we've already been doing this back in 2016. This wasn't new to us or anything, and we kept it under the radar for Nintendo. You guys just had to ruin it for everybody.
Who were playing Pokemon on their iPhones via the Delta emulator, thinking that it was cool, which clearly got the attention of the ESA. If Nintendo was serious about their history, they'd provide their entire library of ROMs on a service. This could be either a rental or a purchase and run on any legal emulator on your PC. I know it sounds crazy, but think about it. If Nintendo set up their own Vim's Lair, which had checks and balances, people would buy those ROMs because they know that it's something that is not illegal.
Right? It's a wild aspect. Just imagine if Nintendo just came out with their own website. They could even make it a subscription-based service, right? Because everyone loves subscription services now. Just a ROM emulator website. Hey, you pay us $20 a month. You have access to all our 3DS, Wii U, Wii games. You could just play it on, or anything Nintendo related. You could just play it up on your computer if you have access to it. $20 a month.
Sites like Vim's Lair, modders, fan translations and ROM hacks should not be punished. These talented people are what the industry needs right now. Many ROM hackers and modders got their start in the industry from their hobbyist work, and it would be a shame to see all that disappear. But these are just one man's thoughts and opinions, and I do know that this topic is polarizing for many of you. So if you did make it to the end of this episode, I do thank you for listening. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I understand that a lot of people don't like emulation and ROMs, and a lot of people obviously do, but I definitely want to hear what you guys have to say in the comments below. But we are going to leave it here for today's episode. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked it, please don't forget to leave me a thumbs up, and I'll catch you guys in the next
thumbs up.
episode. Bye for now.
If you don't, I think y'all should give this a thumbs up too. We need to spread this around. We need to get the word around, and we need to make sure that people are aware of the situation that's going on. That way, hopefully Nintendo can be like, maybe I shouldn't do this and piss off our entire fan base. That was a good video. Here, let me copy that. Oh, hold on. I wanted to check out the comments really fast on this. I do. Shut up, so. Leave my little old man here alone. I need hearing aids, okay? I believe people should back up every single Nintendo game in existence. Nintendo doesn't care about history. I think the exact same thing. If you have those things, you should back them up. It's okay.